Today on Ag Etc. I traveled to Junction City to get the full story behind Hildebrand Dairy. Melissa Hildebrand Reed, great-granddaughter of the founder of Hildebrand Farms, walks us through the story behind their dairy operations and the challenges they've experienced due to the pandemic. Then, with many county fairs looking drastically different for this year, are you curious about ways you could still contribute to your local 4-H chapter? I visit with two 4-H extension specialists from K-State about what you can do to still support in these difficult times. Finally, I visit with this week's Young Leader in Ag, Sherry Cleavinger, who holds the National Elite Miss United States Agriculture title. It's all coming up on Ag Etc. Stay tuned.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back to Ag AM in Kansas. I'm Brityne Rucker, and I'm sure most of you recognize this bottle from your local grocery store. And today I'm getting the full story behind it. I'm at Hildebrand Dairy in Junction City. Let's check it out.
Dairy started in 1930 by my great-grandfather. So I'm fourth-generation dairy farmer and love what I'm doing here. But we definitely have a legacy, which is very special to our family in that we really kind of build for each generation. And so in 1930, it started with just a few calves, my great-grandpa, and he would take milk from those 3 cows and sell it door to door in Junction City. And so it's kind of cool that, so many years later here, we're selling our own milk in glass jars, very similar to great-grandfather, but in grocery stores all throughout Kansas. So while we started with just those 3 cows, it obviously has grown over the years. We're now milking 125 to 150, give or take. And that's really the perfect spot for us. That's where we want to kind of stay. We like that size. It gives us a chance to really know our girls, take exceptional care of them, and then we're able to take all of that milk to the grocery stores that we serve. So we started small and then have grown. We built the processing plant in 2008. So the processing plant is about 11 years old now. And I always joked, especially at the beginning, that I felt like our age. In those first years, it felt like infancy, trying to figure out, how to adapt from being a dairy farmer to a milk processor, marketer, distributor, everything in between. So we've definitely got a few good years under our belt and feel very good about where we're at now as a company, and have really figured out a strong strategy moving forward. So since 2008, we've just slowly grown our distribution. I have 3 refrigerated trucks that deliver our milk, and partner with Dillon's as well as another distributor to get to grocery stores throughout the state. And we also service restaurants and coffee shops, which of course through the times of COVID has made things a little interesting. But we've been so grateful for our individual customer who has, been resoundingly supportive of us through such a trying time. And in moments when they can't find milk on the shelf, they know they can find it here. And we're happy to offer that service for them.
And much like every business, Hildebrand Dairy has had to make a few changes due to COVID-19.
I don't know if there can be any business that has been completely untouched by the pandemic, nor any person. So for us, as dairy farmers on the cattle side, social distancing is our usual. Like, you get closer than 6 feet and I'm going to ask you to back away. So really on the livestock side, I wouldn't say a whole lot has changed. We run a very small team, and so because we run a small team, we're able to kind of distance and stay healthy and maintain. Now, on the processing side, that's where, we've implemented masks in the processing plant and making sure that we're always have face covering, especially handling the packaging or the finished product. We also have our own farm store that is open to the public, and so doing far more extensive cleaning, sanitizing, but then also limiting the number of people in our store as well. So for the first time ever, we actually had lines going out the door because we obviously are limiting the number of people. Not the amount of product though. We have plenty of milk. There's plenty for all. So come on out. There's no limit on the amount of product on the shelf, but there is definitely, we ask for space and distance, and we try and be respectful. And then even in our handling with our customers, we've provided some distance and things along that line too.
When we come back, I'll have more from Melissa at Hildebrand Dairy. You don't want to miss it.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Welcome back to Ag Etc. I'm back with Melissa at Hildebrand Dairy in Junction City. Melissa says they saw a drastic decrease in production as coffee shops and restaurants seemed to shut down overnight due to COVID-19.
I mean, it was just a one day life was good, and truly within, days, we lost almost 30% of our production. And so it was very scary at that initial time frame. And then it was about a week later that stores started really having supply issues. That initial time was really just toilet paper. It then morphed into actual shortages in the grocery store. And so that's when, we had to reshift and refocus our production and kind of move to what the customer asked for, which was more flavored milk versus just the whole milk that restaurants and coffee shops are interested in. And so we were able to kind of pivot and adapt. We also had a huge kind of challenge in that stores were saying no returns. They didn't want product coming back into the store. Well, our bottles were exempt from that, but most people didn't know that. So we saw a huge shortage of glass pretty quickly. And that's something that we're still experiencing. It's definitely still kind of followed through all these months later that we are not getting as much glass coming back to us as we previously were. So, kind of another cause and effect that we didn't anticipate. But through that, we've been able to kind of adjust, pivot. We also wanted, because of the glass shortage, we wanted to provide ourselves available to our customers. So we actually did a farm stand in Lawrence, a drive-through farm stand. So people could come through, order their product ahead of time or at that time, stay in their car, We loaded their car for them, took the glass happily, and that was a really good opportunity for us to connect closer to our customer, as well as provide, Lawrence and that outlining area with some access to us. And so that was a really positive change that we made purely only because of COVID.
And when it comes to spotting Hildebrand milk in grocery stores, you should have no problem identifying the iconic bottle.
When we first looked at building our on-site processing plant, one thing that we really spent a lot of time considering was our packaging. We wanted to stand out on the shelves, and growing up, we always kept our milk in a glass pickle jar. So we took raw milk from our bulk tank. We knew we had exceptionally high quality milk. We had gotten several awards through Blue Bunny, who was buying our milk previously. And so because of that, we knew we had a good thing going, and we wanted to follow it up and make it as quality and premium as possible. And that's where the glass really comes in. That glass bottle is not cheap though. And so because of that, the company that even sold us the glass explained the deposit system and how important that is as part of our product. So when you buy our milk, you do pay for the milk, and then you pay an additional fee for the glass bottle. That glass bottle is then, when you bring that back, we pay that deposit back to you at the store. So you can leave them in your grocery cart and take care of it at the register. You can go to customer service. That money comes back to you. And that's kind of the incentive for us to get our glass back, so that we're not paying that, $2.50 fee per bottle to maintain that. So the glass is a huge part of what we do. It really makes the milk colder, it insulates better, and it does last longer in the glass. And so it's a big part of it, but it's also a lot of work too. We wash them extensively, and then also have to obviously backhaul that glass to the farm as well. So if there's ever an interest to learn anything about us, please check out our Facebook page. We really try and stay up to date with the latest of farm stands or sales in our store, any promotions we have going on, as well as every once in a while just click a here's what I'm doing today. So on Wednesday we had the hoof trimmer out, and so it was like we got a nice little pedicure day post. So check us out on Facebook, and that is the most up to date. You can also go to our website and learn about our products and kind of see a general picture of what we do, but it's not as real time as our Facebook page.
For Ag AM in Kansas, I'm Brityne Rucker.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business has started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm, so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Ag AM in Kansas. I'm Brityne Rucker. With county fairs looking different due to COVID, many people may wonder, how can I still support the kids in my local 4-H chapter? Here to answer these questions, I have with me now Southeast Regional Extension Specialist with K-State Research and Extension, Beth Henshaw, and Southeast District for K-State Research and Extension, Diane Mack. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Now, Beth, despite this pandemic, project work is still continued throughout the state.
Exactly. You know, we have more than 30 project areas that young people take part in Kansas 4-H. And, you know, despite the pandemic, project work went on. And in ways, some of that project work probably provided some routine for kids that they weren't getting when everything else changed. So we know that kids continued to work with their animals, take photography, you know, take photos for their photography project, work on their foods and nutrition, work on their rockets, all of those kinds of things. And in some cases, they probably had more time to work on some of their projects this year than maybe they would have in a typical year.
Absolutely. And Diane, many fairs have made and continue to make changes across Kansas.
Correct. As COVID numbers change and with the staff working with their local county health officials, things may have looked a little bit different. So we have some county fairs that were virtual and that some are drop and go and then aren't open to the public. And then we have some that are open to the public. So all those various ways when our K-State research and extension agents at the local level work with their county health department, that's how they determine what kind of fair they can have.
Absolutely. And Beth, despite all these changes happening, young people still have opportunities to showcase their learning. It just looks a little different in some cases.
Exactly. And, you know, I think Diane had a good explanation of how, you know, things have changed some places, but definitely that was a really important component as we looked across Kansas 4-H is that we wanted young people to have opportunities to showcase what they've learned. So we know that some local fairs went to virtual type things where maybe kids made a video or sent pictures in with a description. And we know in other places, maybe fairs went on very similar to what they have in the past. And then there were other places where it was maybe drop your project off, get it judged, and then pick it back up. So, but all of those ways still provided opportunities for young people. And that was what the number one goal was.
Yeah. And I'd just like to add on to that with what Beth said is that our judges are still such an important part of this process. Whatever way they needed to provide some feedback for our 4-H members, they were able to do that, whether it was just being there and then writing comments or looking at the picture as a virtual setting. Those judges are really important, and we appreciate them still offering that opportunity for our young people to learn and grow throughout this period.
And really being flexible.
Definitely. Many, had signed up that they would do it in person, and when the extension professional called and said, hey, would you be willing to do it this way? They said yes, because they have a real heart and passion for the young people and know how hard they work on their project.
When we come back, learn how else you can contribute to your local 4-H chapter despite fairs looking drastically different here on Ag AM in Kansas.
No one plans to get sick or injured, but when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to Western Kansas.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop. Liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome back to Ag Etc. I return with K-State Extension Specialist Diane Mack and Beth Henshaw. With each county varying in the type of fair that they're doing, it's more important now more than ever that typical fairgoers need to check in with their local extension office to find out what exactly they're doing.
Right. Before they head out to the fair as they normally would, I would call the local extension office and say, ask, is the public, able to go and view the projects, or were they just dropped off and not being able to see? Many times, the extension professional is providing either pictures or video, so that they would just need to go to maybe a Facebook page or the website to still support and see the projects.
Right. And Beth, another big point to make is to the people that want to support and simply check in and follow up with their 4-H members is very important.
Yes, if you have neighbors or grandchildren in the 4-H program and you're not going to be able to see their exhibits at a county fair this year, check in with them. Find out, how did that go? How did they exhibit their project this year? What did they learn in their project this year? That's one of the really great things about fairs is that, typically things are out there for the public to see. And so that may not always happen this year, but we can still support individually those 4-Hers that we know by following up with them about what they learned in their project this year.
And Beth, just touching on that, some fairs are offering an online premium auction, and that could be another way that you could support your local 4-H.
Most definitely, and that kind of goes back to Diane's point of find out what is going on with your local fair that you usually go to, because everything is just a little different this year, but there are a number of ways to support young people.
Now, to wrap up, and the final point here, young people continue to master subjects, skills, and increase their abilities through this 4-H program.
Yes, the fair is kind of that highlight portion for many 4-H members, and so this year may look a little bit differently, but they still have that opportunity to work on projects, to learn, to gain a skill, and then have that fair judge, that adult, go ahead and provide some feedback, and that they can make that a learning experience.
Absolutely. And even though this pandemic is going on, skills and abilities are not being lost here through this program.
Mm-hmm. The beauty of it is with 4-H, we have all these adults that do have a passion for helping young people learn. And so that learning has still happened. And again, whether it be that project leader, whether it be the parent, or whether it be that fair judge or the extension professional, everyone's still trying to provide that opportunity.
Absolutely. Diane and Beth, any last comments?
Still continue to support, as Beth said.
Yeah, check in with 4-Hers and find out what they've learned this year.
Absolutely. Well, Beth and Diane, thank you so much for being on the program.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I'm Brityne Rucker, and this has been Ag AM in Kansas.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
This segment brought to you by Farm Credit Associations of Kansas, lending support to rural America, and by American Ag Service, your DuPont Pioneer dealer.
Welcome back to Ag AM in Kansas. I'm Brityne Rucker. We're returning with our Young Leaders in Ag segment, and I have the pleasure of introducing National Elite Miss United States Agriculture, Sherry Cleavinger. Welcome, Sherry.
Thank you for having me on here.
Now, Sherry, tell us a bit about your background when it comes to agriculture.
I grew up in Leavenworth County, graduated from Tonganoxie High School, and my family has a small farm, about 350 acres. Started out as swine production, farrow to finish. And then when the market dropped in the 90s, we converted our farrowing units into bucket calf stalls. So right now there's, I think, 5 or 6 calves in the barn that we bottle feed every day. twice a day and raise them up and sell them out. But other than that, we do custom hay harvest, baling, wrapping, those kinds of things, and a small amount of row crops. So after high school and graduating, I went to K-State, got my degree in agriculture education, taught for a couple of years, went to Kentucky, got my master's degree in vocational education. It's actually the last group of students to get a master's degree in vocational education. After getting my master's degree and working with the National Association of Agricultural Educators, I went to Washington State and taught for 9 years. Then as things progressed with the family, help was needed here, and I came back.
Absolutely. And Sherry, moving on to the pageant side of things, why and how did you get involved with this pageant?
That's a great question. In my previous teaching experience, I'm teaching at Lawrence High School right now. I taught at Riverside High School before this. I was looking for opportunities for my students to reach out and came across the pageant and says like, hey, this is an opportunity for somebody. The county fair had a fair queen or fair princess. And I was like, this is a very applicable extension from what you guys are already doing. But I couldn't answer any of the questions they had because I'd never been to one. I'd never done anything like that. And last year or the year before, they finally opened up an elite category. And that's where I fit based off of my age, is into that elite category, and was able to participate and get that firsthand experience. So now I can help other students younger than me, of course, try to prepare and get into a role where you can advocate for agriculture. That's what it's all about, telling our stories and letting people know what agriculture really is, because they don't know anymore. You just can't help but giggle and smile. But there really is. There's a place for everybody in this, just like there's a place in agriculture for everybody. There's a place in the classroom for everybody. You just need to figure out where you want to be and how to get there.
Thanks for watching Ag Etc. As always, I'm Brityne Rucker, and I'll see you here next week here on Ag AM in Kansas.
Join Ag AM in Kansas, everyone, Monday through Friday mornings on local stations throughout the state of Kansas, and every day on your favorite social media. Monday kicks off with Dr. Dan Thompson on Doc Talk, as he's joined by leading veterinarians and nutritionists in food animal production. They discuss current production challenges and tips on how to deal and prepare for those challenges. Tuesdays on Farm Factor, it is our friends here at KFRM Radio with interviews from top experts in agriculture. Wednesday, it is a little of Kansas history with Deb Goodrich on Around Kansas. Thursday, Brityne Rucker brings us Ag Etc. This day is filled with agricultural research and ag happenings around the Midwest, including our new Young Leaders in Ag segment. We end the week with Authentic Ag and updates from your local checkoff programs. Make sure to check your local listings or like us on Facebook and Twitter at Ag AM in Kansas, and on YouTube at Farming Unlimited TV, so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching.